It's hard to see what's happening to her.
I call it the total wrecking ball. There's nothing that hasn't been affected by it.
It's been hard because instead of him taking care of me, it feels like I have to take care of him.
It's been almost 20 years and I've watched her fall apart in little bits and pieces.
It is most definitely a civil rights issue. It's a matter of social justice.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Kim Burrows. Dementia, and specifically Alzheimer's, could affect you or someone you know. It can be a devastating diagnosis for the entire family, physically, emotionally, and financially. You're going to see a lot of purple tonight. It's the Alzheimer's Association's signature color. Alzheimer's and dementia doesn't have to be an end-of-life diagnosis. In the next half hour, we'll tell you about some services right here in our town that unfortunately people don't know about until they're in a crisis situation. First, we want to introduce you to 4 families we've been following for 2 years and show you how their lives have been turned upside down by dementia and Alzheimer's. Mike and Shelley Morcom fell in love when they were just barely adults.
Shelley was 20 and I was 21 when we got married.
But as they moved from New Mexico to the East Coast and to Reno, they didn't know that the memories they were making along the way would be so important.
Shelley has changed a lot in the last 5.5 years.
When Shelley was just 57 years old, a doctor broke the news. She had frontotemporal dementia. They suspect she got it in her 40s. The former nurse practitioner now relies on others to take care of her.
Take your shoes off. Be comfortable.
As the
there,
years
kiddo.
passed, the memories slipped from Shelley's brain, the words from her mouth.
All of that. Okay.
Her family watched as Shelley's former self disappeared.
Eat it, roll it, and toss it apart.
This is Shelley just 6 years ago, and this is her today.
And you love me. We love Laura, and that makes
Music triggers something. It's the only time Mike hears her voice.
Boy.
He says he misses it.
And today is Tuesday. We have fun together. We'll sing together. She doesn't communicate verbally, but she does with her smile and definitely through her eyes.
Dementia hit Shelley at a young age. Typically, Alzheimer's, the most common form of dementia, affects older adults.
It breaks my heart. I will cry at night, have tears in my eyes in bed sometimes, just thinking, this is just not, it's hard to see what's happening to her.
Did you hear the Christmas music? They're singing Christmas carols.
Kathy Maupin's mom, Drusilla, is 95.
It's been one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever had to endure. It's broken the hearts of my children to watch their grandmother.
Drusilla has had Alzheimer's for more than 20 years.
I'd love to know what's in her mind or what her emotions are.
She's in her final stages.
There's a lot of grieving before someone passes away. I said it's death by inches, and it literally is death by inches. I have been living with her dying for a long time.
But Kathy is able to see the brighter side of this dark diagnosis.
You don't know how many really good days you have. And that's why it's really important to live each day fully, joyously, beautifully.
Drusilla's family spent $1 million for her care so far. Things might have been different had she known what doctors know today.
It's just really medicine for me.
We've followed Dick Tatro for years. Hear what keeps him moving forward despite a dementia diagnosis. And remember Shelley Morcom, who you just met?
Shelley!
See what's happened since we first saw her story. Throughout this half hour, you'll hear from people we met at the Alzheimer's Walk. We invited them to share something personal about Alzheimer's.
It was my father who had Alzheimer's, and he was an amazing man, and it was just very sad to see the decline.
What I ask for people is to be patient. They're your loved ones. They're not your enemy. They're not trying to frustrate you.
45,000 Nevadans live with Alzheimer's. That number is expected to grow by 20,000 more people in the next 7 years. There is a way to live better with Alzheimer's, but people are not getting the help early enough, and we found out why.
I live my life knowing that a diagnosis is not the end of the world.
Every year at the Walk to End Alzheimer's, you meet people battling the disease and those who want to find a cure.
They can't see my illness.
Dick Tatro's life-changing news came 4 years ago when he was just 52 years old.
I kind of feel like they got the wrong guy.
We first talked to Dick and his wife Mona in 2016.
And every day is a struggle, but we're learning, we try to laugh as much as we can. And
Yeah, that's true.
Dick has posterior cortical atrophy, a variant and rare form of Alzheimer's disease. He struggles for words, gets lost in thought, and is trying to understand why the disease chose him.
It has taken my ability to provide for my family, and it will eventually take my life.
Dick was the guest speaker at the walk in 2015.
We love you, Dick. You're doing fine.
And then that's the vertical speed.
In 2017, we saw the effect on his then 11-year-old son, who was trying to fend off the uneasy questions about his dad.
I try not to bring it up at all at school and stuff so that no one's like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. I don't like that.
my son lost his dad, and it's been a struggle.
And Dick knows what this disease is doing to Charlie and Mona.
Charlie is great. Charlie is so smart. He gets all A's. You can just feel the love that kid has. He's really awesome. We just carry on.
Dick is fighting back against his Alzheimer's by hitting the gym several times a week.
I do a lot at the gym just because I can.
He's the happiest when he's here. So even if he's done exercising, done showering, he just wants to sit in the lobby and just kind of hang out and talk to people.
How you going? I know, he saves me.
Dick's here for the social benefits, but there's a bigger perk. Regular physical activity can lessen the decline in mental function and improve thinking. It can also lower the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease.
Well, we want to be able to help people to remain in their homes, to maintain their independence, and to live well with Alzheimer's disease. As we talked about, it doesn't have to be a tragic end-of-life diagnosis.
There are a variety of programs in our state for people with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Nevada is emerging as one of the leading states in terms of addressing the needs of people living with dementia in the communities.
But the Sanford Center's director says services are harder to access for younger people. The programs usually cater to older people because that's typically who has Alzheimer's.
To the right a little bit. Can you do it? There you go.
Washoe County's Daybreak is an adult daycare, a medically based program in the region supported by full-time nurses.
We are trying to, at a minimum, maintain their level and hopefully improve their cognitive capacity and level of functioning.
But families often don't find the care facility early enough. The director says caregivers burn out and then discover Daybreak.
It reminds me of a mosaic.
At Arbor's Memory Care in Sparks, they offer Moments of Memory, an art program that gives people with dementia an outlet to work on their cognitive skills. The social aspect is also important.
First, you have to be thinking about the image you want to create, and then the other side of your brain is thinking, well, how am I going to do it? So you're not thinking about being depressed or isolated or you're in pain.
Dr. Peter Reed at the Sanford Center for Aging on Nevada's campus says families often don't access services until they're in a crisis situation.
One of the challenges is that people are not aware of those services. Another challenge is that a lot of those services are not connected effectively with each other so that someone can benefit from multiple different programs and services simultaneously.
Dr. Reed says people with dementia should not be discounted. Instead, we need to focus on supporting them living well with dementia.
It is most definitely a civil rights issue. It's a matter of social justice.
Dick's speech on this stage back in 2015 moved everyone who saw it, and we want to share that speech with you. The entire speech is now posted on mynews4.com. Next, we talk to a geriatrician who says there's things we can all do to prevent Alzheimer's. Plus, something significant happened to Dick and the Tatro family. Coming up, we'll also tell you what's changed.
Well, we had a father-in-law who was absolutely wonderful that we lost to it. It was like, it came to the point where we were almost talking to somebody who wasn't there anymore.
I think one of the scariest things about Alzheimer's is there is no cure yet. There are cures for 17 different kinds of cancer and more cancer cures coming out now, but for Alzheimer's, there really is no cure.
The Alzheimer's Association hopes to have treatment in the next 7 years. They think that a cure could be a reality by 2050. There are drugs that can slow Alzheimer's disease, but there are also things you can do now that could prevent it.
My mom is one of 6 children, 5 of whom all have some form of dementia.
93-year-old Eve Bloom lives in Minnesota. Her daughter, Barbara Singer, is her long-distance caregiver.
This is my mom and me, and this is my sister.
The Carson City resident visits when possible and calls often. Music is their connection, as we've heard from so many families finding their way through Alzheimer's. They sing songs on the phone.
Sometimes changes her mood, gets her out of the anxiety, or doesn't escalate. So music works really well with my mom.
Barbara reached out for information and services to help her along this difficult road.
In Carson, there's not enough facilities, not enough caregivers, not enough help.
So she ended up starting a support group for the caregivers like herself.
It can be isolating if you don't go out to a support group or get some help through your church or through friends, through family. It can be very lonely because you're there alone with your loved one.
On the medical front, there are drugs that can slow the progress of Alzheimer's. Dr. Stephen L. Phillips, a geriatric doctor, says finding a cure in the future may be difficult, so prevention is crucial.
A high inflammatory state, such as with diabetes that's not well controlled, lung disease that's not well controlled, blood pressure that's not well controlled, our body releases certain chemicals, and those chemicals have been shown to affect the brain.
Research funding is at the highest level ever. That translates into something positive.
The national plan to address Alzheimer's disease indicated that a national commitment of $2 billion in Alzheimer's funding would be sufficient to meet our goal of having a treatment by the year 2025 and a cure by 2050.
Something everyone would like to see. So what's happened to our families now?
Eva, have you seen my dearest?
She's not in pain anymore. She's not.
Next, you'll see how living with dementia has a different experience for every family it touches.
So my great-grandpa has dementia. It's really difficult to deal with. He really doesn't get out of the house much. My grandma takes care of him, and whenever I'm there, I try to help her.
I was a doctor of internal medicine at Kaiser for 31 years, and it was really hard to see him lose his mental faculties and degrade like that.
You've seen the lives of 4 families we've been following for years in some cases, all of them asking, where did my loved ones go? Sadly, we know how their stories are going to end, but as you'll see, their endings and experience with dementia are very different.
Today is Thursday. It's August 30th.
It's been a 47-year-old love story.
Tomorrow's our anniversary, August 31st. We were married in 1971.
Mike has been caring for his bride since she was diagnosed with dementia 10 years ago. He doesn't see the disease or focus on Shelley's changes. He's appreciative of the time they have together.
I try not to think about the dementia. It's such a cruel disease.
In July, Mike admitted he needed help. He couldn't do it alone.
Eva, Have you seen my dearest?
He just
Where?
put his wife in an Alzheimer's home in Reno, where Shelley wanders the halls carefree.
Shelley! There she went.
Mike is relieved that Shelley is getting good care.
I don't feel like I'm as stressed as I had been. It's less work for me, but the house is so lonely, you know, and that's hard. Night times are always the worst.
Barbara Singer's mom passed away this year at the age of 93. Her son is now getting his PhD in clinical psychology, working with dementia patients. Barbara's mission to help others continues through her support groups.
Well, they're larger than they were last time I talked to you.
Love you.
Kathy Maupin's mom is now 95 years old. The disease has taught her to savor life.
I live more in the moment now. I live a joyous life.
Dick Tatro was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 4 years ago.
So I just see what it does to them.
But the man we've seen through the years is slowly slipping away. His wife Mona says he's in and out of clarity.
I call it the total wrecking ball. There's nothing that hasn't been affected by it.
In June, Dick moved into an Alzheimer's home. His wife Mona visits him every day. His son stops by a couple of times a week. It's hard for both of them.
I've had a great life. We'll just see if we can extend it.
They play music for Dick. Mona says it's one of the only things that he can now enjoy. This was their wedding song they danced to 23 years ago.
What a wonderful world.
But their life's dance has unfortunately ended. Mona says Dick just passed away Sunday. Most likely everybody's going to be affected by dementia and Alzheimer's, so here's how you can get involved. You can volunteer your time, donate for research, and know your resources. If you need any information on the programs, care, or research, the Alzheimer's Association is a great resource. They also have a 24-hour hotline. We've put that link on our website as well as all the resources mentioned here tonight. We also have a link of the memory care facilities in the Reno-Sparks area. It's all on mynews4.com. For photojournalist Brad Horn, I'm Kim Burrows. Thank you for joining us.